Now I'm going to show you the trick to keeping the right arm bent going through impact, which is such an important move to be able to have good consistent club face and club shaft travel going through the golf ball. So we see all the top players do, but you don't do it by physically trying to keep that right arm bent. You do it via this. And that's having good, stable, steady rotation going through the golf ball and having good side bend going through the shot. If we don't have any of those, we will never be able to keep that right arm bent going through the golf ball. Before we get into a drill that gets you doing this, let's understand this properly. We have to understand it before we can actually make this change into our golf swing. So if we're not having good rotation going through the golf ball, let's say our rotation slows down going through the ball, our rate of rotation, the speed of that rotation. Our arms, if our rotation slows down, will start to overtake the speed of that rotation. And for our arms, if they're traveling faster than my rotational speed, are going to have to pass through the body. And I have to straighten the right arm to be able to get them passing through my body if they're leading and not my rotation leading. So we'll generally see someone come out of posture when they do that also. So I could try all I like to keep that right arm bent if my rotation is slowing down in the downswing, but I'll never be able to do it. So that's where, again, we need to keep the rotation constant going through the golf ball to be able to have that right arm remain bent. Like we said, right side bend is also incredibly important coming through the golf ball to keeping that right arm bent. If we don't have right side bend going into the ball where that right shoulder drops down to the right hip, let's say we have a lot of space between the right hip and right shoulder, very vertical. Again, we're going to have to get onto the golf ball. And to do that, we have to straighten that right arm. We'd have to extend it if we're staying too tall, too vertical through the shot. So that's where having that right side dropping down to the right hip as we're going through there, almost feeling like you're hitting the ball with your right shoulder, that gets you closer to the ground, keeps you turning through the golf ball also, keeps that rotation constant. Our right arm will naturally start to bend because that's the only way to hit the ball solidly from there. And then we've got all this passive, nice movement going through the golf ball, good stable face, good stable shaft movement, consistent and repeatable each time. Here's the drill to be able to get it. So here's a drill, and that is the preset rotation drill. Talk about this drill all the time on the channel, but this is a brilliant one for this issue because it keeps you, one, rotating, and it keeps you having side bend at the right time to keep that right arm bent. So what we do, we set up to the golf ball, impact position, so where we have the hips open, chest open, weight is 90% on the left leg, and more importantly here, the right shoulder is down to the right hip, as close as you can get it, where your mobility will allow you. Some people will be less, some people will be more. So really get that down, and now what we do, we swing back, and we swing through that position there. Really, really good to be able to get there. So us springing back, springing through that impact position, where we're getting all these nice things, you're going to notice every single time your right arm is going to be nicely bent without you even trying to do it. So many golfers are trying to physically hold their right arm off, which can be beneficial in a drill if you're really, really struggling with it, but you're most likely doing things wrong with your golf swing to be able to cause that to happen anyway. Most likely rotation slowing down, the rate of it, and most likely not side bending enough. So here we go, another one, preset rotation, and just really rep those out. And then from there, you might think, what do I need to think to be able to get that into my swing on the golf course from there? Nothing. You've got to drill it out in practice. You've got to get it into your subconscious. Nothing you're going to do on the golf course is going to make you have that right arm more bent, other than repping it out so it's ingrained in that subconscious. Tons and tons and tons. And this is where you could also implement a little pre-shot routine to stack the cards in your favor. We see one player out on tour. What does he do before he goes and takes the club back? Matthew Wolf, he'll have that little trigger. You could go and do that as well. Why not? Why not? So you can do that little Matthew Wolf trigger, preset rotation, which is why he does that, because he used to do this drill also with George Gankas. So there we go. And then you could do that same feel. There we go. Then you'll look down and you'll have a little bit better of a chance to have that right arm be a little bit more bent. But that's how we can somewhat bring some practice element of it onto the golf course, absolutely. but it's going to be through tons and tons of practice is how you're going to get it there, which, as you know, that's something I talk about all the time on my channel. You've got to rep something out to be able to make the change. This isn't going to be an instant thing. Maybe some people out there might be lucky enough to where it is. I'm never that person. Nothing gets into my swing instantly, but can be possible for some of you, but more so than anything, practice. And if you have problems with your rotation, slowing down its speed, I've got plenty of videos on my channel of why you might struggle with rotation. There'll be things in your golf swing that'll be stopping you from doing it. And I also have a full course on rotation called The Ultimate Guide to Rotation in a Downswing, which is on Skillist, the app version of Skillist, which there is a link in the description. It's like almost 2 hours long talking about all the intricate little things about rotation that you need to know. It gives you a coaching level of knowledge. You will know why you're not rotating after that. But if you need help with anything with your golf swing, also on Skillist, link in the description, online lessons with myself if you want to work one-on-one. So, absolutely guys, have a great practice at this. This is the trick to keeping your right arm more bent, and that is via rotating side bend. Got to do it. So, if you enjoyed this video, click that like button for more golf instruction just like this. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.